All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are doing energy and oil sector review, focusing on the energy side here, looking at UEC and UROY. UROY is new to my videos. Both are uranium though. Real quick, before we get into the details, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, the horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it really does well with the YouTube algorithms. Nonetheless, I sincerely appreciate your time, and I am glad you are here. So let's get in. And you know what, real quick, if you disagree with anything I have to say, please throw it in the comments. I'm not here pretending I'm perfect or all knowing, right? So you very well might be right, and let me know, and I would love to find out before I, find out the hard way, right? So let's get into it. So it's funny because generally I always say if you can break the 200, if you can get over all 5, things are gonna be great. And the last time I made the video, it was around here. We were over them. And I was surprisingly not happy and I was not bullish at all. And it really played out as I expected. And why is that? I'm going to zoom out a bit actually. It's not that far a view. But look, from roughly October through today, we've been overall and we fall. We've been overall and we fall. We've been overall and we fall hard. We were over a little bit. That one doesn't count because there wasn't good confirmation, obviously, and we fall. And we were over again, and I'm telling you, I was very much not believing it was going to happen until we broke this line. And for real, that's what happened. And look, I'm obviously not here to give financial advice, right? These are just opinions of some person on the internet, but I'm wildly proud of myself. And if you use this, I really hope it saved you some good money because, again, if I'm no longer impressed if you can't do it all these other times, right? And there was a point, if you were watching these videos back in the day, this used to be a 420 resistance line. We moved it up to 423, I have to believe, sometime here. And look, that 3 cent move up really mattered, and it really, really would have paid off because that looks like, oh, it closed at 419. It wouldn't have even hit the 420. So man, I'm telling you, I love these lines a lot. They make me smile. It's silly, but it's true. So where are we now? Look, all we're really doing, I'm kind of zooming back in and out, and I apologize for that, but all we're really doing is this weird oscillation across the 5. And I generally call that a horizontal cluster of moving averages when you have all 5 roughly going just like it sounds, horizontal, right? Yeah, if this breaks this, I'm telling you, it will do well. UEC, if you can get over 423 with confirmation, right? Got over 423, did not confirm, right? Opened over 423, clearly closed, and then did worse after, right? So we're here for more than a single day, but yeah, that's going to be the start of it, right? Clearly, the last thing we want to do is lose the 50. I don't want to fall down because we've seen a pretty devastating hit when it falls. Actually, we've seen more devastation down than we've seen flying up, right? So I'm real glad we were able to use these 2 lines. It's hard to break to. It's that much harder to lose to, right? So those 2 did their job. Could it get us over the 8? I can't tell. Maybe we're right on it. Yeah, we're right on it. Right on it doesn't, like, you either break it or you don't, right? And sitting on it is not a break in my book. So tomorrow, hopefully it does get over it and close over it, right? But again, for me, nothing's going to matter until 423 breaks and then the day after confirms it. So that's definitely the story here. Look, this MACD is really oscillating just as much as the stock itself, actually. So I do like, I mean, I like seeing it because, again, that's what these are, right? They're in a lot of ways are indicators up here. But yeah, I generally don't like this, right? I like that. That's real nice, but that didn't react that well to it. And why? It's because also the RSI wasn't doing the same thing. When these 2 are doing the same thing, when they both have that green over red taking off like that, that helps that go phew, either steeper up or continuation. You know what I mean? So these two should be doing the same thing. Clearly, they never have been. RSI has just been super, super tight, right? So good volume today. I don't know if there was a reason for it or not, but you know, the moment's here, and we'll go ahead and set an alert here. Again, an alert is by no means a automatic buy. It's a come check out the chart. But yeah, the day it's at 424, let me know for sure. Until then, UEC is going to keep doing UEC's thing, you know? This actually looks okay. So I take that back as I look at more candles. Okay, so this right here, this week right here, the one going into February, breaks the 20 and the 50 on a single candle. I say this on multiple videos. If you're going to break two moving averages on a single candle, the next one needs to be monstrous confirmation. I say that on the daily, I say that on the weekly. It doesn't matter when you do it. It's a simple fact that I you know, we stamp on this thing, right? So that is not good confirmation. It's a little over 50%, and it is technically over all the lines, right? It does close over the 50, but come on. I'm expecting it to close here or here, right? Not, you know, all right, just kind of back on the line. From there, I'm not liking where we're at. We obviously have one more day, so tomorrow must close at $4. You'll see the 50 average right there is 399. We can't lose the 50. I don't care that we're over the 8 and the 20. Come on, get over the 50. And again, I think it just goes back to this oscillation that we're seeing in the daily. The weekly can't figure itself out, so you can't expect the dailies to, right? So that's really why we look at weekly and daily. So, you know, is what it is. You see the green going up, but again, I'm telling you, I've seen it since from minute, right? So I'm a little extra pessimistic here, and honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. If you can put a higher criteria into your entry point, you really should be putting your money in a better position, right? So I know it seems like a couple pennies, but yeah, get over that 23-cent mark and we'll talk, you know? UROY might be my new favorite one to say. Jivo was probably my favorite stock. Just I love that Jivo. I like saying that. UROY it's kind of right there. I think it's I'm being way too silly right now. I apologize. This is serious technical analysis, obviously. So I've actually never put this stock on the video. Clearly, you see I've made a line on this because you know I have moved this stock before. Let's go ahead and delete the lines. There's only two anyways, but let's do it fresh here. So look, I guess we'll zoom back because again, I've never really talked about this stock. Huge. Okay, I don't want to go too much. Let's not do that. Look, I'll start here. There are good separations between these lines, right? And what really should have happened here is that it should have broken these two and gone up to here. Clearly, I've said it, right? This isn't quite a tight cluster, but yeah, when you have two lines together, it's really hard to break both because big momentum to get over that, and then right away it's gotta tackle this one right after it. It's hard, you know, and it does its best to at least stay parallel with the two lines. It gets to the point where look, either you're gonna use the 8 to bounce up, or as you obviously see here, it falls and loses it. This 20 though actually does a decent job, right? And more than anything, this is where I kind of call these tornadoes, right? As these lines start to get tighter and tighter, it starts to do that horizontal cluster that we literally just saw on UEC. And you know, I think the fact that this one's kind of starting it, obviously it's a little bit more of an extreme difference, right? It's not as tight an oscillation, but I think the fact that this one's starting to get tight and UEC is already tight, I think that makes sense, you know, and I definitely don't like this compared to UEC, right? If I had to pick between the two, obviously I'd stay away from here because this is well under the 8 a number of days. Even this big massive one, it still couldn't get over the 8, right? So the 8's definitely no joke, and I'm starting to see it get ready to curve down. we're now 2 days well under the 20. And really, if it wasn't for this little anomaly here, right, we probably would have continued down and lost these. So I'm assuming, in all honesty, we're going to lose 250 and kind of fall down a bit. And again, what did UEC look like? The opposite. It at least was able to get over the 20. It's at least closer to the 8. And that's at least on the higher side of this, right? So it kind of looks like this is where UROY might be, right? And hey, maybe it'll hit these two and bounce and prove me wrong. But yeah, I don't like that MACD. I mean, RSI is definitely a little tight, I guess, so maybe we'll discredit that. But yeah, that's definitely not good volume at all. So let's draw a couple lines. I think this is a decent view. How high are you compared to... Yeah, we even wick right there. I'm going to keep that one. I think that's a good one right there for our high. And I'm not going to lie, if I'm going to use that for our high, I have to use that for our low. Can't go any closer. I would put something right there. Roughly speaking, the top of that and the top of that. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then from there, we have our moving averages in the middle. So I think that's a decent right there. And let me go to the weekly to see if there's anything above. Oh man, yeah, from there it's actually, from there it would really love to come to right here. That's for sure. Because like, yeah, maybe I can draw one right there, give or take. Maybe right there, give or take. Yeah, I'll draw one right here. It's top of that and bottom of that. I think I like that. Okay, cool. That is some pretty good lines up and lines down for UROY. Again, I'm kind of seeing it going on the bottom side of this. I don't know if these two are going to hold it, but we'll see. I mean, the 50 just did a monster bounce up, right? So, hey, it might prove me wrong. But, yeah, I'm not liking this MACD a lot. And I think just based on UEC, the MACD might be a little more important than the RSI. Normally, I like the RSI a little more. But, yeah, and then real quick, I know I looked at the weekly for the lines, but what does this actually look like? Again, this is actually pretty clustered, right? It's not as tight, but I'm at least seeing 4 out of the 5 moving averages within a stone's throw away from each other going relatively horizontal, right? Where is the 5th one in comparison? Oh, there is no 5th one. Is there no this thing has not been trading for 200 weeks. Because look, the 100th week started right here. And yeah, that many weeks is not quite 100. So I have zero idea where the 200 line will pop up. I don't know the math enough to like be able to do that, right? But yeah, this is actually all the moving averages on the weekly. There is clearly a 200th on the daily. And look, if I zoom out, that 200 can't be super old. Oh, I guess it is kind of super old, but again, whatever. That's a poor way to end this video. Hey, if you disagree with anything, please feel free to throw it in the comments. I'm not here to pretend to be perfect or all-knowing. Otherwise, hey, I do appreciate your time, and yeah, more videos are coming.